I'm Will Hedrick.
And I'm Jordan Schaffer.
And this is Dog Ears and Timestamps, a book club podcast.
Dude, and here we are, a year.
1 year, plus or minus a day. I think September 5th is the actual, or at least September 5th was the first episode that we published.
Yeah, so I think...
We actually recorded probably 1 or 2 days before that, so the 3rd or the 4th, so maybe.
Probably right about at a year, like if not dead on. Yeah, we're close enough to dead on. Yeah. I'm going to say dead on.
It's the anniversary week.
Yeah, it's this is cool. I mean, I honestly, like, I never doubted that we'd do it for at least this long, but it is kind of crazy having actually done it this long. So that's really satisfying. Like, I'm happy we've done it. It's been a good project. And honestly, man, we couldn't have picked a better book, like, to do it, in my opinion. I think it's turned
out to be, at the very least, with all the build-up that we've made, even if only for ourselves, it hasn't been disappointing so far.
Not at all. And Brandon Sanderson, like, I definitely see why he became what he is today.
The known author that he is now,
Yeah, I mean, I know we were reading a bunch of, like, debut novels from other authors, and that was really cool because you got, like, a fresh taste on a lot of things. Like, the Descendant of the Crane, that had, like, I say it every time, like, the magic in that was so unique that it was just, like, it was really, really fun, like, just learning that with that world and, like, going in with her and, like, hoping that there'll be a sequel and for her to develop, like, the universe. And it's just crazy because I don't know if this book has a sequel. I think it does.
I don't think this one does.
Really?
At the very least...
it might not have been a planned
One
sequel.
of my coworkers saw me with it at work yesterday and I was like, oh, are you reading that blah, blah? And I told him, yeah. And that I was excited to, be finally reading a Brandon Sanderson book just because I've heard of how prolific he is and all that.
Yeah.
And he was like, yes, and everything is really good, but unless you want the commitment, just read his standalone books like that one. Okay. Because all of his series get really long. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. No, that's what I was worried about when I bought the Wheel of Time book, the first Robert Jordan Wheel of Time book. God, I know there are at least 13 of those novels, and they're all at least... George Simpson length, 2 inches worth of novel, like 500 plus pages probably. But yeah, the first book is it's like 24 hours almost probably of audio. Yeah, like I was looking, it's like in the 20s on audio. So it's quite a novel. But honestly, so listening to this book just right off the bat, like the world development, the character creation, I mean, I honestly, I fell in love with both of the girl characters. Like, they're both really cool. They're both very strong, like, very great lead characters. They're both very, like, relatable and, like, heroic. And, like, you can almost see yourself in either position, like, doing kind of what they're doing. Like, being the sister that, like, that would protect the sibling, or being the sibling that got dealt the shittier hand, and debatable if it's shitty or not. And, it's a cool story. I don't know if it's going to be like a sister story of, like, coming together girls, or if it's just going to be like a really cool tale of this adventure that they go on in the universe. And I don't know, I'm just excited to see where he takes us, and I have a lot of faith that it's going to be. I think that some things that I want to happen obviously probably will, just like any book. I'm sure we're gonna predict some stuff, right? But I have a feeling that it's gonna probably go in ways that we would have never guessed, And I don't know at all what that means. I know that's such a vague statement to just throw out there, but I genuinely think that we're not gonna guess, like, the ending, and it's gonna be like, oh my god, like, that was kind of wild, right? Like, or it was just like, oh, I'm kind of like, that ruined it, or like the ending is gonna be like make or break probably. And I know that probably sounds like
I'll tell you what the ending is going to be. The ending is going to be that everybody finds out something new about what the actual truth of the religion is in this world, and it's going to be a middle ground between what Idrin and Hallandren believe. And it's going to be like, sort of like, well, neither of y'all are correct, but it's actually this one thing, and this is the truth that we unite the people under. And, we all learned something about ourselves on this journey. Because all of the hallmarks of that sort of story have already happened.
I'm gonna bet against you. I want like 20% of that to happen. Like I was trying to, like I was alluding to a second ago. Like, I think we're gonna guess kind of right, like, because we're right, like you said. A lot of the story elements like that have already been put out there. but I just see it taking like a very dark or very like, realistic turn and just being like, ooh, okay.
Well, I think the realism of it is this going to turn out to be just science and not necessarily religion at all anyways.
I hope it's
the
more.
Science of what breath is, Or,
that'd be cool.
Or
that'd be good to learn.
Biochromatic, whatever the phrase was again.
Yeah,
they only use it a couple of times.
Yeah, every time I hear it, I'm like, is that different?
Biochroma.
Yeah, it's like, is that different or is it better?
I think that's the science word of it, like what you would say to a scholar about it, as opposed to the like a cultural colloquialism of breath,
Yeah, I got you. Well said. Cultural colloquialism. That was tough to just say.
Colloquialism is one of my favorite words. So
can you define it for people that don't know what it means? I don't think I do.
Like a word or phrase that, while not being the exact representation of what it is that you're talking about, everybody understands it to be.
I got you. Context clues.
Yeah. In a nutshell, yeah.
Can form a colloquialism.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, nice.
Like the word may have been something else. Like let's say that peanut is a word. It defines a nut that we know to be a thing, a species of nut.
It looks like a pea.
But some culture, even if it's only like a group of 15 people, might give it a contextual meaning that peanut actually means a small dog or something like that.
I got you.
And so then that's if not the exact Webster definition of colloquialism, that's we're along that train track.
That would be a colloquialism, an inside joke.
Yeah, these are
not
all
necessarily a joke, but
phrases and words of a feather. Yes.
Phrases of a feather. Nice, dude. You're full of. Dude, you got it all today. Well, let's before we get too far into the book, how's your week, man? Like, how's everything been? I haven't really talked to you, I don't think, in a while. I mean, we talked for a while before we recorded.
What have I done since? When was Tuesday?
We saw Marin
was the last
2 weeks
time?
ago, but we didn't talk about that last week.
Yeah.
And then I haven't seen you since last week. So I think I remember you doing draft stuff.
Yeah, we had our fantasy football draft for this the new season, the fantasy league that I run. That was Friday night.
Very cool.
And then Saturday I went down to Shiner, Texas, the cleanest little city in Texas.
Oh yeah.
And because our friend that works there at the Shiner Brewery, he and his wife just bought a new house and they needed some help getting some work done, so we dug a trench. And then I came back, and Justin Verlander threw a no-hitter, and then I didn't start reading until yesterday because I was just too busy all weekend.
Yeah, and probably exhausted from trench digging.
Yeah, and just like a perpetual 3-day hangover.
Yeah, I guess I went to Indianapolis for the Wizards United convention.
Yes, I remember you mentioning that.
And that was really cool. It was a bunch of dorks like me walking around on their phone playing the Harry Potter version of Pokemon Go, basically. And it's cool because you rather than using Pokeballs, you cast spells and you just the world is cursed and you're trying to fix it. There'll be like a student that's covered in a vine and you cast a spell on it, cuts it off of him and stuff, and you save the different characters and you're collecting different pieces, and it's fun. And at the convention they released dragons, which was fun, and they had a bunch of different events, and I won some shirts, and just it was fun being in a community of just a bunch of people that are all there to do this silly thing on their phone, and everyone I took pictures literally of just the park, and people the people were the focus of my picture because everyone was walking around on their phones. It was
kind of like when Pokemon Go was first a thing.
Yeah,
certainly
exactly.
In these major cities where you'd go down to auditorium shores and stuff like that, and everybody's just catching Charmanders.
It made me think I wonder if this is what our future is going to be like, if everyone's just going to be if some version of this, everyone's going to be kind of in a screen version of their life. But I guess if you're already
hopefully
at
some point we're just going to have contact glasses that are just head-up displays.
Well, then ideally we wouldn't have to move and walk around, right?
Well, I think we'd still have to do that to some degree, depending on your occupation. But we'd be able to just do it without having a device in our hand and falling into manholes like people on YouTube do.
Yeah, it was funny. It just made me think, like, I wonder if this is slightly telling of what our future is gonna be. Just like if we're all gonna be glued into this. And I kept looking up, hoping that I'd run into like a celebrity there. Like I was looking for one of the cast of Harry Potter. Just because they showed up to like the much bigger grand opening of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Right. Yeah.
Some of them showed up to that, so I thought maybe there might be a chance that one of them needed a paycheck or something.
Right.
I guess
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure none of them do, but anyway, it was a lot of fun, and
Who
it
would
was just
need a paycheck?
Percy Weasley,
Maybe. I think that's a good call.
maybe not Filch, dude. He got that Game of Thrones money and Harry Potter money. Man, I can maybe no. Flitwick was in every movie. I'm trying to think of like just a one-off. Yeah, any of the Defense Against the Dark Arts professors except for Lupin.
Mm-hmm.
They probably could.
Yeah, what's
they probably
Quirrell
need a job.
doing?
Yeah, right. And Lockhart.
But Lockhart's actually a big actor.
Yeah, I thought so. He looked like a big famous actor.
I can't remember his name, but
He reminds me of the guy in Big Fish.
oh my god, yeah, I was about to
Ewan
say
McGregor?
it's Ewan McGregor. I'm like
It
a
makes me
million%
think of
positive
Ewan
it's Ewan
McGregor.
McGregor, in which
Are you
case I
sure?
should just go jump off my roof for not remembering that
I don't
right
think
away.
it's Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor's one of my favorite actors.
It just
we may be
looks
wrong.
like him.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think I don't think Ewan McGregor is him. I was just saying he looks like him. Dude, if it is, that's gonna blow my mind. But yeah, dude, it was just a fun, silly weekend of that, and it was just literally Bailey and I flew out for the day because she got invited to the event because she had been playing the game a lot, and I had been playing a little bit, but she got like a pre-invite. So we were able to get tickets because they asked her to go.
No, it's Kenneth Branagh, which is somebody else.
Yeah, Kenneth Branagh. But yeah, so she got invited, and so we bought the tickets, and it was a lot of fun. And I think they're gonna release Dragons soon, and I don't know. It was just I was on my phone the whole day, just like fighting dragons and freeing kids and eating ends, and I ate barbecue in the Midwest barbecue, which was good. Yeah, man, just a good weekend, and then I read everything today, really. I definitely didn't spread it out. So I had a little bit of that same stress level that you were talking about where you put it off till the end and you got to catch up. But I was just thoroughly happy with it today. Like I started this morning listening to a podcast and kind of laughing, being in a giggly mood, and then thinking like, oh crap, now I got to listen to the book, but I need to. And,
Right.
And I wasn't sad, obviously, that I had to listen to this book because I was looking forward to the book. And
you
then
just
once
become
it started,
real mindful of how long it's taking you when you're on
Exactly.
that crunch.
Yeah.
Which I hate whenever I end up letting it
be
until the night before we record, or like I know that I'm not going to be done and I have to text you like, well, what about Tuesday instead of Monday? You
Yeah,
know?
it hurts the experience a little bit, I think, having to put it on the time scale and knowing and being very conscious of how much time. And
if I was just better about making like 2 or 3 chapters a night, then it would be way better.
I've got such an addictive personality with the stories, though. Like once I start it, like I'd probably be like all in. I have to get to the end of the part that I'm allowed to read to, and it would be the only thing I'd listen to until I was done. I wouldn't just be able to do like an hour or 2 a day, but yeah, I mean, I was really excited and happy when I started listening today to this, and it was. You want to just like break it down a little bit? I mean, we kind of broken it down some, but you want to refresh everybody what it was about, like the breath, and we kind of like.
Yeah.
Give us your own hook page, Will.
It's so there's a kingdom, right? And it is home of an exiled royal family. And their old kingdom has started a new religion after having ousted them. And that religion is about bringing people back from the dead. Not really, though, because they apparently randomly come back from the dead, but then they just perpetuate their life. But there's always been a war between, the two kingdoms. And now it's time for part of the peace treaty to come to fruition, in which the small kingdom of the exiled royal family sends their daughter to the big kingdom to marry their god king. And that's to reintroduce the royal bloodline into the actual, old kingdom. And that's supposed to continue on the sustained peace of these two kingdoms that are, ostensibly at war.
Yeah, peace is always best managed when you give them your daughter, right?
Yeah.
You just give them
Generally speaking.
give them something you love. That way they can hurt you if you try to back out.
But the story, at least so far as we've gotten through at this point, is just that they, instead of sending the eldest daughter, they send the youngest daughter, who is the character that we at least start following.
It's such an oddball for what everyone expected to, because there are 3 daughters, and they never expected the youngest to come. But anyway, go on.
And then there's also one of the gods that are on the god's court in the Old Kingdom is just like this god who doesn't really care, or he doesn't believe in his own religion.
Yeah, he's like the god of having a good time. Formerly the god of war and courage, I think, right? Or is it the god of courage? He is the god of courage.
Okay. He's formerly a regular person that died.
Yeah.
Because that's how they become gods.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of like whatever, and he's the character that's our in to making actual change in the world, because he's in a position of power. But because he's sort of disenchanted with everything, that's why he's malleable to the story's purpose. And then there's another character who we've spent literally just the prologue and one other chapter with, who has this sword that's sentient, and he seems to be a bad guy, or at the very least is very indiscriminate about the crimes and murdering that he does.
He's a bit of a wild card, yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name? It's something silly like Tarzan.
Vasher.
Vasher. That's so cool. Cooler than Tarzan. Well, respectively. You wouldn't want to be known as Tarzan, the sword slinging dude.
Right. That's all that's happened so far.
Yeah. And
we're still putting it all together, what's going to happen. Because there's there's the political intrigue of what is going on between all the gods. There's 25 different gods, not counting the god king.
Yeah.
And they all are in charge of different aspects of what the kingdom of Hallandren goes through. These guys are in charge of the military. These guys are in charge of civics and all that sort of stuff. And so there's, all the political intrigue of the court system, or the, god court system. Our main character, Ciri, is figuring out what is happening from the inside, because now she's the God King's wife.
Yeah, growing up not having to own any of that
real
responsibility,
purpose,
and being the youngest.
She was youngest of 4, and everybody also had a role, and she was just an afterthought. And then what's going to happen with this Vasher dude? The eldest sister that was supposed to be the promised wife decides that she's going to go to Hallandren to save her youngest sister, so she becomes a character that we start following.
Very Katniss.
Right. So we've got 4 different angles on what it is that's happening in Hallandren, and where do they come together? They come together to change the world, is what's going to happen, just like I predicted at the beginning of the show.
And then
which is fine.
And then some I just feel like I can see it is going to happen, and you're never going to see it coming.
I sure hope so.
Just Brandon Sanderson, dude. You got to have faith in our new favorite author.
Okay.
I really like Ciri. She's played as like this kind of underdog character who's like a bit just like almost like Arya versus Sansa, like in Game of Thrones. Not to try and relate it to Game of Thrones too much, but like whereas Sansa was like raised to be married off to not necessarily Joffrey, but to someone that was like her big purpose. Like Arya kind of always had the idea like she was gonna be sort of wild and go on her own, and it seemed like this was the same thing. Like this is the youngest daughter. She was super into horses, loved doing all her own stuff. She was kind of a rebel, so much so that her parents just sort of gave up on disciplining her and like making her do certain things. Like if she was gonna skip her lessons or whatever, she was gonna skip them. There was no stopping her.
Right.
And she's just like kind of a fun character to.
She's certainly endearing.
Yeah.
But endearing for just archetypical reasons. Like as a character, there's nothing about her yet that I care about.
So you like Vivenna a little bit?
Same with her. She's also just another archetype. Like the eldest sister that was groomed to do the mission and is very good at everything that she does. So far, everybody in the royal family is just an archetype. And we'll get more of them, obviously, at the very least, we've gotten as little as we have of them because we've got 2 other characters that we're following. And so the timeshare is broken up, and as we spend more time with them, hopefully they'll become better characters. But just right now, they're just like, whatever. I know who these people are. I've seen them a million times before.
Yeah.
The only character that I think that I care for so far is Lightsong, the god that we follow.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's something. I don't know. There's something. He's more sympathetic of a character than the others. The others are just like, yeah, these are characters that I've already known and loved in other stories a million times over.
I guess that was why it was so easy for me to attach. And then it's Siri, like the name of my phone. You know, it's just like, I just see her all the time. No, I don't think that had anything to do with it. But hearing Siri all the time is like it's a name that prior to my iPhone, like I never had really heard. You know, obviously. So if I had read this book pre getting an iPhone, I think that would have been an interesting, like, brand new character name. But it's just like, I don't know, it's just a super common name that I hear all the time now. So it's I don't know why. I guess it just made me ready to like it.
Yeah.
Which is silly, but I guess it's just like repetition. I hear it a lot. I'm around it. I'm exposed to it. It's like,
right,
okay, like
yeah.
I just like, I like it.
It makes sense.
It was fun. Just hearing Siri is a fun little character. Suri is Tom Cruise's kid. I was like, man, isn't there somebody named
like,
Siri?
What are you going with?
No, yeah. No, I was just trying
totally
to.
forgot about that. Yeah.
No, just super random train of thought. ADD. It's kind of weird that like one of the overlying plot devices. It really hasn't even been. It's been like addressed to the fact that like the youngest daughter is there in Helendrin, obviously to sire an heir.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not really like super high on the people involved's priority list. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Obviously, Siri's not super eager to just be a husk. You know?
Right. It's definitely a plot device just to get her there.
Yeah.
And for it to be like, you know, like with the archetype of this character, the least likely to fill that role, even in a non-hostage situation, you know, like this is. And so, you know, it's a like a clash of like, well, this character would never, you know, be super stoked about having a kid, even in a regular life.
Right.
But now she's being forced to because of royal obligations and peace treaties and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
In this like draconian society. And so, you know, it has its own novelty because of that, but it is just a reason to get that character into the situation where she gets exposed to this person that's the God King, who we're obviously going to find out is, you know, a tool of the political system and is not actually, you know, the monster that her society is making him out to be.
Right. That's one of the first things I think she felt like she was learning. It's like, it's not everything we were saying. It was not like the hellhole we made it.
The real monsters are the priests and the political system.
Yeah, the puppeteers.
And the gods that, you know, can see the writing on the wall, and like Blushweaver, who tells Lightsong, I'm not going to have my kingdom taken out from under me like the royal family did whenever the usurpers took it from them. Like, I'm going to be ready whenever this war comes. And so, you know, her faction and they're the warmongers, the ones who are ready to take out Idrin, just for the sole purpose of keeping a hold on their power, are, you know, the actual thing to be afraid of in this society. Probably not Susebron, the God King. He seems to just be more or less, at least on an emotional level, just a child still.
Right.
Because he was born into God Kingdom and has known nothing else but the isolation that he lives, like not even his highest priests can really talk to him, you know?
Yeah, and the high priests give him the information that is relayed to them from the common folk. So obviously, not only is there the natural effect of the telephone game, but they literally have full freedom to corrupt as much as possible. Obviously, like they could just lie to him and be like, "This is what they're saying. Nobody came today, but I'm making it up." I don't know. I guess just one of the things that makes Siri out to me to be a little bit more of a character is that she's not just like, whereas some of the characters that I've met like this before probably would have been more rebellious the whole time and wouldn't have fallen in line to do the to go through the motions of doing what was right to help like protect her family and kingdom. Like, I don't know if Arya would have necessarily stood there and like gone through the motions of having to be like the
But all the gods are
vessel.
effectively dead in the Game of Thrones universe.
I know that's
So
fair.
she doesn't have that fear and just the baseline respect for religion in her in the way that all the characters in this story do.
I guess that's fair. I guess to that fear leads pretty well, or fear is guiding her actions. I don't know. It's just like when you, in my mind, she seemed like the character that was just going to fight the whole time, and she's sort of just rolling with the punches and trying to make the best of a bad situation, which is the smartest thing to do. So it's just like, and realistically, what I would have to do, like I wouldn't be thinking about breaking out. I'd be thinking about how do I make the best out of this, like this sucky thing I have to deal with. And then, I mean, I don't know if Ciri's super in the know about the inevitable war that's coming. I don't think she's really aware of that coming on. But
yeah, she's not aware of that up until the point that they start talking about it in court. Whenever she's first there, after her wedding jubilation week, where she was sequestered the whole time, because her not being of age back home or important enough to take counsel with her father and everything. It was always just like, well, we got the peace treaty, and Vivena's going to go be, the God King wife, and that's going to sustain the peace treaty, and everything's going to be okay. Vivena's the best at everything that she does, and she's going to have that role perfect.
Nailed it.
And so it was like, never anything that was just on her mind at all, which we get when she's in the kitchen talking to the head cook, and she's just like, don't be ridiculous. We're not going to have a war. We've got the peace treaty, duh. Just naive child things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The things that she's doing now, I guess I don't necessarily see coming. They're not out of line for her character, obviously, but they're character developing in the fact that, like, I'm liking who she's becoming as a character as she grows in the story, and I'm excited to see where, like, it takes off, because, I mean, obviously she's one of the main two. I think that it revolves obviously around Vivena and Ciri, so. Mostly them two. I mean, I know it obviously has a heavy,
they're the
heavy
ones
parts
that were
played
given
by
to be on their side,
right?
Because that's the kingdom that we start in,
Yeah.
And it's painted a picture of these, austere people that live a very simple life, and sort of shun the lavish, just like gross lifestyle of the Hallandrens that are showy and flashy and blah blah blah, and also it was their kingdom that was usurped from them and all sort of stuff. So by very common conventions of storytelling, these are the good guys, and so that's why we're on their side.
See, the twist is going to be that they're actually not good at all. Like in Naruto, how Sasuke's family sucks. They're bad guys. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm enjoying it. What's your favorite part so far? I don't know. What do you think?
Everything with Light Song, he's the best.
Light Song?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Nice.
At the very least, he's super duper funny.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he has been. All his little sections are good. It's how do they divide it in the book? I always miss the chapter like breaks when they say it in the audio, because I'm just listening and it doesn't really register as like chapter 21.
They're just chapters.
Is it a chapter where he's the main character, like you get it as?
Well, sometimes you'll get 2 or 3
off?
chapters in a row with with the same character.
Is he? And he's one of them, or because like the way I in my head, it's like they all kind of get their own little showcase time, like in. It's mostly Ciri and Vivena, but I can't.
And sometimes it breaks up chapters between 2 different characters.
Oh, okay.
Like whenever we're in court, it jumps between a couple of them for 1 or 2 chapters.
Oh, okay, cool. Are they broken up in the middle, like with the little stars, or no different chapters? Oh, okay.
Well, both.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. Just in the way that, so I mean, the purpose of a chapter is to get a point of storytelling across, and if that common theme is the fact that these 2 characters happen to meet in the alleyway, but we need to know both of their stories getting to that point, that's a single chapter. You know?
Okay. Yeah. That answers that. Okay. Cool. Because in my head I didn't know for sure if it was like splitting it all between all the chapters, like each one got their own chapter, or if it split it up in like a single chapter, ending the idea. And I guess that's something I should have noticed, but. Whatever. I've already decided that this is gonna be a book that like I will revisit.
I wouldn't be surprised if at some point I did.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna revisit it like soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't get built up on too many books, especially if I'm just revisiting them. While we're reading new ones. How was it reading it all like yesterday? It wasn't
I read like 100 pages yesterday, and then I read the other 100 pages today at work.
Oh, okay.
which is, not out of the norm for the entire year that we've been doing this. But
yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I hate doing, like I was talking about at the top, I hate doing that because it puts a pressure on me that I don't want to do. So it's certainly not the ideal way to do it.
Yeah.
Reading reading for 6 or 7 hours at a time is not a problem. I've done that my whole life.
Yeah.
But because I have to is a problem.
That's the part that makes it less appealing for
Just
sure.
because I am then suddenly very conscious of every 15 minutes. I'm like, okay,
For
well,
sure.
I've only made it this far and I need to get this far. And, I just become super conscious of it. And if I'm in the middle of trying to do laundry and I'm like, I got to make
that
dinner.
messes with
and
productivity.
yeah, you just become super aware of your time being used, which has nothing to do with the book. It's all to do with, me being bad at time management.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to this next section. I have no real predictions yet. I mean, I don't really want to make any predictions. I just sort of want him to give it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's really going to be too much to be figuring out until like a big twist is revealed, if there is such a thing.
Well, the only thing to figure out is what's up with Vasher. What is his motivation?
Yeah, that's sort of the only mystery right now.
Everybody else is pretty spelled out.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think I know how the story ends. But what is Vasher's deal, and why is he the dark horse?
Yeah.
At this point.
What is his deal? Well,
yeah, what's his deal?
Makes me think of the guy in Descendants of the Crane, like the man. Why can't I remember his name? It's like Ying or yeah.
The male twin.
Yeah, no. The foreigner guy, the foreign guy that like she gets to like the
Akira
has a cane. Yeah, Akira.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's who I am picturing for that. That's sort
yeah.
of character.
Yeah, what is his deal too? What's Akira's deal?
What is Akira's deal?
Is he Vasher?
They are, dude.
Are these two sides of the same Discworld coin that are parallel universes?
The way my mind does it, dude, I always like I reuse like the same like people as characters in my head, and like that's probably why, like I said earlier, like why I related to these characters so quickly, is they were people we had met before, kind of, and
right.
Yeah, dude, I just like recycled the people as you were saying that. I was just like, yep, no, my mind is like
guess
crazy,
what? So
weird
do
Discworld.
authors.
Very true. No, it's
That's why these archetypes exist.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping.
That's why you can identify the personality of almost any anime character by their hair color. Mm-hmm. Because these things exist for a reason. For sure. The word stereotype is you can almost always at least get a good bearing for what somebody is going to be or what their point is. By hallmarks like physical appearance or even like their names and things like that. It's because there hasn't been an original idea truly in like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, oh shoot, I lost what I was gonna say. Didn't matter. There's just more thinking about just the storyline out loud. Well, I mean, I like it. What do you think? You have anything else you want to add or?
Not that I can think of, no.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. What's our next section? Just the 20
The next 20 chapters, yeah.
39?
Yeah, 20 through 39.
Okay. And, it should be hopefully, around the same amount of digestion of the book.
Yeah, hopefully
like
it's like another 200, 215 or something like that,
And how big is the book?
The whole thing's like 670 or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Cool. That's nothing crazy.
So no, yeah.
And you're reading the actual one that we bought a year ago, right?
Well, then it makes sense to buy it again. So.
Right. Yeah. No, I bought it again, but for the audio,
Mm-hmm.
And oh, by the way, this narrator is female also, and I'm not confused on anyone's gender. So yeah, she is crushing it. She's a really good voice actress.
That's
and
good.
I'm really happy with the job she's doing. So just shout out to her.
Good.
Yeah. So
better than last time.
Yeah, unfortunately, still a good story, but just could have used a little bit better of an actor.
I still don't know.
I think this one's gonna crush.
Like I said, I don't know how I feel. How I didn't care that any of those characters lived or died in Raven Tower.
Hopefully this story just knocks that one out of the water. I hope.
I
don't know.
Yeah.
It's a Brandon Sanderson.
At the very
want
least, I
something to
care
resonate
about
and,
these
like, hit me hard.
characters. I didn't care about anybody in the Raven Tower.
There you go. Progress. That's a step in the right direction.
It's definitely better by definition, or not even definition, but just by virtue of that one thing.
Oh, for sure.
But,
well, I mean, you guys know how to find us at Instagram and Twitter for ears_stamps. And then our Gmail is dogearsandtimestamps@gmail.com. I don't know if I ever say this, but just thanks for listening. I like that there are people listening out there. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel like this is worth doing every week.
Yeah,
So
if you listen to even
listening.
like 30% of the show over the past year, then thanks, I guess, for at least that.
Yeah, no,
or
thank you.
Putting up with the mediocre thing that we're doing.
Yeah, no, any amount of support is just like really appreciated. It makes me feel like we should keep going rather than like if it just drove itself into the ground. You know, just the.
At least another year with all this equipment investment we just made.
Right. Yeah. So, I just want to say thank you for everyone that's listening, and it means a lot. So this is a lot of fun, and happy year. Well, we're doing good.
Happy year. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll find out. If in another year we feel the exact same way, then I don't know what that means, actually.
I don't know what it means either.
Whatever. I'm Will Hudrick.
I'm Jordan Schaffer.
This is Dog Ears and Timestamps.